My girlfriend expected me to pay for every date, saying, "Men should always provide." When I asked her to split a bill just once, she scoffed. "Wow, you're that broke?" The next day, she showed up at a fancy restaurant, only to see me sitting at a VIP table with someone else. Her jaw dropped as my date whispered, "Glad you ditched the gold digger." I met Jessica at a friend's birthday party in Brooklyn. She had this infectious laugh and a smile that could light up a room. We clicked instantly and started dating soon after. Our first few dates were memorable: walks through Central Park, visits to the Met, and dinners at cozy spots in the East Village. I always picked up the tab, and it felt right at the time. As our relationship progressed, I began to notice a pattern. Jessica expected me to cover every expense during our outings. At first, I didn't think much of it, but as the bills added up, it started to weigh on me. One evening, after dining at a trendy restaurant in Manhattan, I decided to bring it up. "Hey, Jess," I started as we walked along the Hudson River, the city lights reflecting off the water. "Do you think we could split the bill sometimes? It's getting a bit tight for me." She stopped and looked at me with a mix of surprise and disdain. "Wow, you're that broke?" she scoffed. "I thought men were supposed to provide. Maybe you're not the man I thought you were." Her words hit me hard. I believed in partnership and equality in relationships. This reaction was unexpected and hurtful. I didn't argue. Instead, I nodded and walked her to her apartment in silence. That night, lying in my small studio in Queens, I couldn't shake off her words. I realized that our values might not align as much as I had thought. I decided to take a step back and reevaluate our relationship. The next day, I made a reservation at Le Bernardin, one of New York City's most renowned restaurants, known for its exquisite seafood and 3 Michelin stars. It was a place I had always wanted to visit but had been saving for a special occasion. This felt like the right moment. I reached out to an old friend, Natalie, who had just moved back to the city. We had always had a close bond, and I knew she'd appreciate the experience. She happily agreed to join me. That evening, as Jessica was likely preparing for another night out expecting to be wined and dined, I was getting ready for my dinner with Natalie. I donned my best suit, feeling a mix of nerves and excitement. As Natalie and I were seated at our table, the ambience of Le Bernardin enveloped us. The soft lighting, the hum of quiet conversations, and the impeccable service made it clear why this place was held in such high regard. We ordered the chef's tasting menu, eager to indulge in the culinary journey ahead. Midway through our meal, as I was savoring a delicate poached lobster in a rich butter sauce, I noticed a familiar figure entering the restaurant. Jessica. She was dressed to the nines, her eyes scanning the room. Our eyes met, and for a moment, time seemed to freeze. She approached our table, her expression a mix of shock and curiosity. "I didn't expect to see you here," she said, her eyes darting between Natalie and me. I smiled politely. "Jessica, this is Natalie, an old friend. We decided to treat ourselves tonight." Natalie, sensing the tension, extended her hand. "Nice to meet you." Jessica shook her hand briefly, then turned to me. "I thought you said you were tight on money." I took a sip of my wine, gathering my thoughts. "I realized that I should spend my money on experiences and people who appreciate mutual respect and understanding." Her face flushed, a mix of embarrassment and anger. "I see," she said curtly before turning on her heel and walking away. Natalie looked at me, concern in her eyes. "Everything okay?" I nodded, exhaling a breath I hadn't realized I was holding. "Yeah. Just closing a chapter." The rest of the evening was delightful. Natalie and I reminisced about old times, laughed, and enjoyed the exceptional food. As we left the restaurant, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. In the following weeks, Jessica tried reaching out, apologizing for her behavior and asking for another chance. But I knew that our fundamental values were too different. I wished her well and moved on. Natalie and I continued to spend time together, our bond growing stronger. Sometimes, life's unexpected turns lead us to exactly where we need to be. The night at Le Bernardin stuck with me. Not because of the food, though it was unforgettable. Not because Jessica saw me. But because something in me shifted. I realized I had spent too long being someone I wasn't, just to keep peace with someone who didn't respect me. A few days later, Jessica texted me again. Not a long message, just, "We need to talk." I ignored it. Then she started showing up. Once outside my apartment. Another time outside my job. She'd stand there with this look that tried to be sad and mad at the same time. The same expression she used when she didn't get her way. Eventually, I had to talk to her. Not because I owed her anything, but because her popping up was starting to mess with my life. We met at a small cafe in Williamsburg. Neutral ground. She wore her usual polished look, hair perfect, outfit matching, not a wrinkle in sight. "I miss you," she said, eyes locked on mine. "I don't," I replied. I wasn't trying to be cruel. Just honest. She blinked, like she didn't expect that. Then her voice dropped. "Is this because of that girl? Natalie?" I paused. Not because I was unsure. But because I knew Jessica. And when she got that tone, like she was trying to sound casual but couldn't hide the bite. You had to choose every word carefully. "She's my friend," I said. "But even if she wasn't, this isn't about her. This is about the way you treated me." Jessica leaned back in her seat, arms crossed. "So what? You date one girl who splits a check and suddenly you're a feminist?" I laughed once. Not because it was funny, but because it was so perfectly her. "This isn't about gender. It's about respect. You didn't have any for me." She rolled her eyes. "You're just mad I called you broke." "And you meant it," I said. "That's what makes it worse." She didn't respond. Just stared at me like she was trying to read a new version of a book she thought she had memorized. Then she dropped the twist. "You know, I told my cousin about you. He works in real estate. Okay? He said your name came up in a tenant application. For a building on 14th. You're trying to move?" My blood ran cold. Not because I had something to hide, but because why was she even checking? "That's none of your business. I thought we were done playing games," she said. "I still care about you." "No. You care about control," I said. She stood up fast, knocking her chair a little. People turned to look. She didn't care. "You're making a mistake," she said. I didn't answer. I let her walk out. A few days passed. Then the weird stuff started happening. The apartment I was supposed to move into? The landlord suddenly ghosted me. Emails went unanswered. Calls went to voicemail. The job I was in talks with for a promotion? Suddenly they were re-evaluating internal candidates. And my Instagram? Someone reported 3 of my recent posts. Nothing offensive, just pictures of food, places, and Natalie. But they got flagged for no clear reason. I had a sinking feeling in my gut. I checked in with my landlord, the one I was leaving, and asked if anyone had been calling about me. He said, "Yeah, someone asked about your references. Thought it was strange since you're moving out." "Who?" "Didn't say. Used a fake name." My stomach turned. I started putting things together. I called Natalie that night. Told her everything. She was quiet for a bit, then said something that stuck with me. "She's not done. And you better be ready." She was right. Because the next day, I got a package at my door. No name on the label. Just my address. Inside? A bunch of old receipts from our dates. Neatly stacked. Some even highlighted. At the bottom, a sticky note. "Maybe you should pay me back." I sat down, hands shaking. This wasn't over. I stared at the pile of receipts, feeling my stomach twist. Some were months old, dinners, museum tickets, drinks, even a concert I surprised her with on her birthday. Who keeps all that? It wasn't about the money. It was the message, "You owe me." That sticky note was her way of saying she still had a grip. That no matter what I thought I'd walked away from, she was still in control. I didn't throw the receipts out. Not right away. I needed to think. That same night, Natalie called me. I got a weird DM, she said. From an account with no posts. Just said, you should know who you're dealing with. I didn't even have to ask who it was. I tried reporting the account, but by the time I checked, it was already deleted. Clean. No trace. Just like Jessica to cover her tracks. Days passed. I kept my head down. Worked. Ate. Slept. Avoided social media. Until I got an email from HR. They wanted to discuss some complaints about my conduct. I almost laughed. There was nothing to complain about. I kept to myself at work. Always professional. Always careful. I walked into the meeting and saw my manager, plus someone from corporate. They slid a folder across the table. Inside were screenshots of text messages. From me to Jessica. Except I never sent them. They were long, rambling messages. Threatening. Bitter. A full-on character assassination written as if I had snapped. I knew immediately, they were faked. But someone took the time to make them look real. My name, my number, the same texting style I use. Scary accurate. I looked my manager dead in the eye. This isn't me. He believed me. Or at least said he did. Still, they had to investigate. So I was put on temporary leave. That night, I felt like my life was unraveling. Natalie insisted we meet. She showed up with her laptop and a flash drive. I think I can prove those texts were fake, she said. Metadata. Timestamps. You just need someone who knows what they're doing. I looked at her, really looked. She wasn't just helping me. She was going all in. We worked on it all night. Pulled backups, screenshots, anything that could show a pattern. We even found inconsistencies in the fake texts, phrases I'd never use, typos I don't make, emojis I never touch. Then, twist number 2. Natalie told me she'd been getting phone calls. Not random ones. Blocked numbers. Always late at night. Silence on the other end. One night, she picked up and said nothing. The voice whispered, "Do you think he's worth it?" She hung up and blocked every unknown number. But it shook her. And now it was personal. I knew I had to confront Jessica, but not alone. So I sent her a text. "We need to clear the air. Meet me. Just us. No games." She responded 5 minutes later. "Fine. One last time." We met in the same cafe as before. She came in wearing that same perfect exterior, like nothing had happened. "I was surprised to hear from you," she said. "Thought you were done talking." I didn't sit down. I just slid a flash drive across the table. "Metadata. Those messages you sent to my job? We're tracing them. My lawyer's involved." Her eyes narrowed. "You're bluffing." "No. I'm giving you a chance to walk away. Now. Stop the emails. Stop the fake calls. Stop going after people in my life." She didn't speak. Just clenched her jaw. I leaned in slightly. "Or I go public. With everything." That got her. I saw her face twitch, just for a second. "You don't know what you're doing," she said coldly. "Maybe. But I'm not afraid of you anymore." I left her sitting there. I didn't look back. But I knew this wasn't over. Because someone like Jessica doesn't just stop. She waits. And I had no idea what she was planning next. After I walked out of that cafe, I didn't hear from Jessica for almost a month. No weird DMs, no strange calls, no surprise show-ups. For the first time in what felt like forever, I started to breathe again. I got my job back after the HR team confirmed those messages were fake. Natalie's help saved me. She even found an old friend of hers who did digital forensics. They were able to track the source IP of the fake texts and messages. Not to Jessica directly, of course, she was smarter than that. But they were tied to a VPN, one that had been used before. By someone who had shared her Netflix account with Natalie years ago. That little detail connected the dots. Still, I didn't go after her legally. I didn't want more chaos. I just wanted her out of my life. I thought silence would be enough punishment. I was wrong. About 6 weeks later, I got a call from a mutual friend. He said, "Hey man, you might want to check Twitter." Jessica was trending. Apparently, she had started dating a new guy, Mark. A finance dude. One of those flashy types with watches that cost more than my car. She bragged about him online constantly, posting pictures, captions like, "Finally treated like a queen," and, "Know your worth, ladies nail polish." But here's where it got dark. Mark's ex-girlfriend had been following Jessica's posts. She noticed some of the jewelry and purses Jessica was flaunting looked familiar. Too familiar. Turned out, they were stolen. Jessica had been slowly moving into Mark's apartment without him realizing. Leaving things, getting keys made, snooping through his financial stuff. He caught her on a hidden camera trying to access his safe. He pressed charges. It made the news, local at first, then picked up by bigger outlets. They called her a luxury leech, a social climber gone wrong. Her old tweets got dug up, including some passive-aggressive ones about me. And that's when I did something petty. I won't lie about it. I posted a simple screenshot of that receipt stack she mailed me, with the caption, "Guess she wanted everyone to pay up." It blew up. She messaged me. Not to apologize. Not to take responsibility. Just, "Hope you're proud." I didn't respond. But I wasn't proud. I wasn't even happy. I was tired. Because even though she got what was coming to her, I couldn't lie to myself. I had stayed too long. I saw red flags and ignored them. I was scared to speak up, scared to look weak. I let someone like that into my world, and I didn't protect myself. Natalie told me once, "The mistake isn't trusting people. It's not walking away when they show you who they really are." Jessica showed me. Over and over. I just refused to see it. But she messed up too. She thought people were tools. Disposable. Replaceable. She used people until they couldn't give anymore. And this time, it caught up to her. Last I heard, she was trying to start over in Florida. Low profile. Deleted all her socials. Some say she's still doing the same thing, new town, same game. But that's not my problem anymore. I learned my lesson. And I paid my price. So did she.